and you never think it's going to happen to you. And especially a
Right.
train derailment in the US seems so far-fetched. I remember, I don't have memory of the crash, but I remember the moments right beforehand. And I had stood
Wow.
up to get something out of the luggage rack above my head. And I was standing in the aisle, and the train started rocking. And I remember grabbing onto the luggage rack to keep my balance. And I was kind of annoyed that I couldn't let go to get what I wanted off the luggage rack.
Right.
And then I started to feel like we were tipping. And the thought that flashed through my mind was, this is impossible. Just as you said, trains don't tip. You go around a
Yeah.
curve, you lean, you don't tip. And when that lean started to feel like, we were tipping over, I remember thinking, but we can't. It can't be. And then you realize that in fact you were tipping over, and I screamed, and that's my last memory.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Like
I've
my,
had people, experts, emergency workers tell me that, or hypothesize that perhaps because I was standing in the middle of the train, braced literally with my arms over my head, hanging onto the luggage rack, maybe perhaps that was the reason I survived. We'll never know, of course, but I'm enormously grateful.
yeah. But that's the start of this journey. I
It's
mean,
true.
it's the start. It's
It's
just,
true.
it's an overwhelming start, and then, as I put the pictures I see in my head of remembering this on the news and going through it and the reports and everything, and then it's like that in of itself is overwhelming, but it's almost like the start of this journey that
It
you
really
start to
is. Yeah, and
go
that was
on.
something that I think you don't appreciate until you go through it.
Yeah.
Trauma's not that one-time event, and it took me quite a while to really grapple with and accept what a change this meant for my life.
Yeah.
I was, as I mentioned, very severely injured. Couldn't breathe on my own for quite a while. I was immobilized in the hospital on a ventilator, in traction. My neck was broken. My lower back was broken. My stomach had been found up beside my heart. My intestines were in my armpit. All of my internal organs were lacerated, ruptured, displaced. And then my rib cage, my surgeon described it as having been annihilated. I just, the left side of my chest was just crushed. And my pelvis was broken in half. The right side was not connected to the left side. And all of those injuries, the flail chest, the what they call an open pelvic ring fracture, the ruptured diaphragm, the destroyed spleen, taken alone, all of those injuries have a pretty high mortality rate. But altogether, um, well, I had one trauma surgeon tell me, you're a unicorn, right?
You're a
And I said,
unicorn.
well, this was much later as I was doing a presentation and standing on 2 feet, and he said he just shook his head. Um,
It's like, oh my
but I
goodness.
was I was under this impression you're trying to be grateful I did live. Nobody could explain why I
Yeah.
didn't have a major brain injury and I wasn't paralyzed. I had one surgeon tell me, I have no medical explanation for how your body could have absorbed that much force to do what it did to your bones, to do what it did to your organs, and you don't have a massive brain injury. He said, I don't know how that is possible.